So often when I'm in the studio, I flip on. I'm on the TVs back there. As you see, there's a few. Just on this half alone. There's also some over this way. But like I'll turn on usually MMA fights or something like that and listen to it in the background while I'm working in the studio. Often even with Raven here. But about a year ago, I flipped on this this thing that said slap fighting, and I checked it out. And what it is some would call it a hobby, some would call it a sport. But people compete and they slap each other until one submits or gets knocked out or it's stopped. Things of that nature. Basically, where one opponent's had enough. And I'm watching this, and man, I was floored. I couldn't believe, that this was actually that I was witnessing this. It was entertaining to say the least. It was definitely entertaining. But there was one guy that really stood out, and man, he would hit people on his first hit. Man, they would drop. This guy was like Mike Tyson of the slap world. And everybody kept talking about Darius, this newcomer, this young guy. But that wasn't the first one I had noticed. The first one that stood out for me was this guy, Wolverine. He hit this dude so hard that when I watched it, he hit him so hard that the guy he hit looked like he forgot he had a corner man and reached up to Wolverine, his opponent, and asking him to help him up and stuff. And it looked almost as if he was apologizing, based on what we had seen as viewers. You could just see hit him hard. Even the commentator saying, usually your opponent don't reach up and ask you for help after you've knocked him down, but this guy was hit hard. And I'll show you the video.
Cruising in my lane fast, call it high speed. I've been working hard, yeah, I've been working nightly.
But I found it entertaining. I really saw it as entertaining. And I remember UFC in the early days, like I watched the first one was actually banned for the longest time. You couldn't watch it in the United States when it first came out. And it happened right here in Denver, not far from where the studio is at, the very first one. But I remember the second one that came out, when I watched it on video, like it was a dark arena, things like that. You didn't really see the audience, and it looked much like what slap fighting looks like now as a starting new sport. So as I was watching, I'm like, this sport's going to be growing. This is going to be huge one day. Like to the point where now there's celebrities like Arnold Schwarzenegger and YouTubers like Logan Paul, or what's his name? Logan Paul is doing commentator for it. But it's drawn some attention. It's really drawn some attention. But this guy Wolverine, I watched his fights and I was just impressed. Super, super impressed. And I set out to find out more about him. And what I did find out is he's actually a former MMA guy. And those that watch my channel know that I'm an MMA fan myself. I like jiu-jitsu, things like that. And this guy, I've seen him doing rear naked chokes when he was younger. I was like, wow, who is this guy, Wolverine? And his name's not out there for everybody, and I'm going to try my best to refrain from throwing his name out there. That's for him to do. I'll just refer to him as Ron or Wolverine through his video. But I had to search and find out who he was, and it wasn't easy. I've actually had easier time finding unmarked graves than I did finding out who this guy's name was. But when I found him, I messaged him and I asked him, hey man, is there any chance of doing an interview? And he was cool as shit about it, man. Totally welcoming. Now, to give you guys an idea, my father used to do security work for like Disney movies back in the 80s and 90s. So I grew up always seeing pictures of him with celebrities and stuff on the wall. He was constantly, I don't know, some of you may know Dom DeLuise, but he was like really good friends with that actor who's passed away long ago. But he did a lot of the work, and he owned the limo service that did Disney's work, so I grew up kind of around celebrities. And then my background, I have done internet radio, and I got to meet some of my favorite celebrities. Just all my life, I've kind of gotten to meet people that I wanted to meet. Not everybody, but a few. quite a few, more than most of the people I know, in fact. But to be able to talk to him and see how cool this guy was an honor, because there was only one other guy that I remember being this welcoming when I reached out to him, and that would have been Nick Menza from the former drummer of Megadeth. He was really welcoming as well, but this guy Ron was totally about giving me a chance for an interview, being, you know, an up and coming channel, fairly new. I ain't got. It's not like I'm in the hundreds of thousands, whereas other people in this niche are. But he was really cool about giving me an interview. Well, wouldn't you know it, right after he agreed, man, it snowed here in Denver on the weekend that I was supposed to do an interview, and he had storms here, and just, you know, things came up, so we weren't able to do the first one. And I didn't want to keep bothering the guy because, you know, this guy is like, he's a 2 division world champion. He's got 2 different belts. And from my understanding, he actually dropped one of the titles after defending it. He dropped it so somebody else can win it, only to come back and win it again. This guy he hits like a truck, is what people are quoted as saying. But I didn't want to keep bothering the dude, so I left it alone, and I hit him up just last night and asked him, or the other day, and asked him, hey, is it cool if we do this Saturday? Now, I knew this was going to be Memorial Day, but I didn't comprehend it until this morning after I was getting set up and people were moving green screens around and stuff in here. I realized that, man, I bothered this guy on a holiday to do an interview, and he didn't give me no problem at all. Anyways, I think I've talked enough. Let's go ahead and get to the interview, because this was something I really wanted to do, and to have the honor to be able to interview Ron Wolverine from the Slap Fighting Championship, and he is the current 2 division slap fighting champion. To be able to interview him for this channel was probably one of the best experiences I've had since I started this channel. So I've done enough talking. Let's check out the interview.
I wanna taste the pain. I think I'm seeing all red. 2 bullets in the gun, 1 shot to the head. I need a blank space. 'Cause everything is a threat, but I never back down, man. I'd rather be dead. I'm making love to fate. And she look better in bed. And I'ma rock this life till I take my last breath. I wanna make a change. I got 1 life left, so I'm gonna go down.
Hey, Ron, can you hear me?
Hey, bud. Yes, sir.
Thank you so much for taking today. I realized after 11 o'clock it was a family holiday, and I'm like, oh, man, of all days, I apologize.
Nah, you good, bud. Hell, kids are outside playing anyway, so.
Okay. Well, I'll keep it real brief for you because it is a holiday. You seem to have cut off on video.
Oh, I know. I'm ready to grow it back out.
I hear you, man. Actually, I started growing mine. You were one of the people that kind of gave me the idea to grow one. I never used to like beards, but watching you, I was like, I'm going to try a beard. But I'm going to get to these questions because, again, it is a holiday, and I know you're super busy. Viewers, there is a delay. I don't mean to cut you off. Is what got you interested in slap fighting?
No, you good, bud. Honestly, I mean, I done MMA since I was about 19 years old. I think was when my first one was, and I had fought under JT's Tilly's promotion during MMA, and he asked me if I wanted to try slap fighting out. It's something he'd been trying to put together for a while and everything else, and so he asked me, and at that time I was actually living down there in Florida, and they had an event up there in the middle, you know, in the.
Where at in Florida? You from?
I think it was up there in Missouri at that time. Do I? I'm not from Florida. I was just living down there in Florida. We were living in Inverness over there by Ocala and everything.
You mentioned your MMA. My next question. It's only what is your background in combat sports? I watched some of your videos, and I think I heard you have boxing background as well.
A little bit. I mean, I tried to train a little bit, but obviously, I mean, if you ever watched any of my MMA fights, I didn't really train too much for him. I just went in there and I was pretty much just a brawler. I mean, I'd swing for the fence. So
Rear naked choke from one of the videos I seen.
Yeah, I picked up a lot of stuff. If we're being honest with each other on stuff that had been done to me in a previous fight, so obviously I just picked it up
See, I'm a
as I
jujitsu
went
guy.
along.
I'm a jujitsu guy. So, I seen you did win some and you lost some. I think I seen that you won more back then. But you did have some talent. That rear naked choke, wasn't that against the same guy, Arcada of Death, that you put in that rear naked?
Yeah.
I got a question about coming up. I do have a
Okay.
The next question I got, you know what's coming up. Next question is, are you actually friends with any of the other slap fighters?
Yeah. I keep in touch. I mean, like me and Frank, we've messaged each other. Like even whenever I didn't have a match or he had a match. I mean, I keep in touch with Frank. And then I've kept in touch with Archaic Death a little bit,
Okay.
and I've kept in touch with quite a few. The only one that I really don't talk to outside of events too much is Darius, and it's nothing against him. We just
Yeah.
we just don't talk to each other. So
Middle. I mean, the first one, I want to cover that as a fan. The first one, you could see the comments. Everybody thought you won that. Everybody did. But the second one, honestly, as a fan, I was disappointed that they didn't stop it after like 15 rounds or something. And that would have been the same for Darius if he had, if it came the other way. Because as a fan, you don't want to see your guy get hurt. You're like, you've seen enough. Make a judge decision. From a fan's point of view, I do want to say. But the first one, it's you can look on the internet, man. Everybody thought you won that. my next question is.
yeah.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
No, you go, bud. Go ahead. I was going to talk about the Darius matches, but
Please do.
we're good.
Please
Go
do.
ahead. Well, the first one, I think we went to round 7. It was in the first tournament that I ever did, and obviously, I thought I did better. I guess I had that step at penalty, but I cut him, so I thought I did pretty good. And then we met at the championship of that tournament. That one's on YouTube as well, and
Yes.
I ended up losing. They ended up forfeiting because I was already so swelled up that.
I'm glad you did.
Yeah,
Man.
every little touch was.
I watched that
me.
with my
And
girlfriend.
then that last.
Go ahead.
Yeah. No, you good, bud.
I watched that with my girlfriend, and after so many rounds, we're like, "Oh, please stop the fight. Just stop it. Make a judge's decision." Harder,
Yeah.
man. We could hear your wax.
Well, that last one that I did with him. That last one I did with him for 15 rounds, or what was it, 27 rounds. I mean, I thought I did good, first 10, 15 rounds. And then, I'm not saying it was on purpose. I'm just saying that shot to the eye, like, I got pictures on my phone that, I could always send to you or something that you could see the cut, like, on my eye. And it was, like, when I drive a truck, I had to wear sunglasses even, at nighttime. Just because the headlights were affecting my eye so much.
That's when we wanted to stop. When we seen that it affected your eye, as a fan, we were like, just stop the fight. They can come back another day. As a fan, nobody wants their guy to get hurt.
Yeah.
What do you enjoy doing for fun outside of slap fighting when you're not working? Because I see you're a busy guy. You show up to these slap fights in your work boots. I've seen you in your work boots, man.
Yeah. Man, really, honestly, I play video games, and I'm just a normal guy, really. I go out there, go outside with the kids, or just sit around the house, watch TV all day.
Awesome. Yeah, I imagine busy. You don't feel like getting out and doing much. My next question goes to about Arcada of Death. Man, and I know you can talk about your most recent fight, and I've stayed away from all my questions from that. I kept them out. But that fight, you hit that guy so hard, he forgot he had a corner man and reached up and he said something to you. What was it he said? It looked like he apologized for even challenging you.
No, I helped him up, and I was like, man, I was telling him it was okay to quit if he didn't want to continue, because that was his first time ever doing the slap fighting, And he wanted to go against me, and it just was luck of the draw that he got me in the first round. So after that first hit, I mean, he wasn't knocked out, but I could, see that little. So I was trying to tell him that, if he wanted to back out, dude, there's no shame in it. And he said he was good, so he wanted to try it again. So.
Is my best fight. I've actually done a couple of small, short videos on my Instagram and stuff of that about keeping people in line. That's the best fight I've ever seen. As a kid growing up, what did you want to be as a kid growing up? I'm sure you didn't sit around the house and say, man, I want to grow up and slap the crap out of somebody.
Man, honestly, growing up, I'd never really dreamed anything outside of just regular working, pretty much. My old man did military work, and then my stepfather did like warehouse and factory work, and that's what I figured I would do: raise a family and work in a factory. And so I didn't really dream about no sports. And then when I became about 18, MMA started coming around local, around where I lived, and I went to go I thought it was a boxing match originally, and they told me it was MMA, and that's how combat sports got started for me.
Yeah, I know how the combat sports goes, man. Now, I watched UFC in the early days, and I'm not going to lie to you. This is a sport that's growing fast. I don't know if you pay attention to it outside of participating, and I don't know if you know the numbers, but as a fan, I remember UFC being in like dark arenas and stuff, and I live in Denver where the very first one happened of UFC, actually not far from here, and which in the early days of UFC. I see the sport growing much like UFC. I mean, I see the Russians have been doing it for a little while, but you guys are really, really growing this sport. In fact, it won't surprise me if 10 to 15 years from now, there's a Hall of Fame and you're going to be in it. I mean, you're a legend already.
Yeah.
If you can be. I caught
I don't know.
you off guard.
Yeah.
As a person.
No, I just really, I mean, I don't really know, bud. I'll be honest. I mean, maybe like Chuck Liddell or somebody about bad sport wise.
So you're a
I've always
fan too.
Yes, sir.
So I guess my next question actually is, who is your favorite athlete? You would say Chuck Liddell.
When it comes to combat sports, Chuck Liddell. When it came to like every sport, it'd be Eli Manning. I always enjoyed watching Eli, for the Giants.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, I mean, I'm a Giants fan, so I know I get a lot of crap for it around here.
For being whatever fan you are, I only watch one sport, and actually two now, that's slap fighting. Before that was just MMA, and actually you came up when I was searching MMA fights one day, and that's how I found slap fighting. I'm going to be honest. If any of your people from slap fighting watch this, I became much like other people. But what do you consider more challenging? MMA, do you have to go?
No, I just had a kid out there crying. I was about to go check on him.
Yeah, check on your kid if
My
you
bad,
need to.
bud. I'm trying to.
No, handle your kid. I got a kid too, so I can edit anything like that out. I'll take it all out for you.
Okay.
Yeah, I got a
We'll
small
go tell her
kid
to stop
too.
crying.
Yeah, definitely
Close the
handle
door.
that.
Yeah, I got three of them running around, and their favorite thing to do is to help fight each other.
Yeah, see, I got a girlfriend half my age, man. I picked a young one when I was actually, I don't know what your stance is on marijuana, but I was actually a marijuana grower out in Michigan, and picked me up one half my age doing that. But back to you, what is more challenging, slap fighting or MMA? You've done both.
I would believe that MMA is more challenging, if I'm being honest. Because I mean, slap fighting, I enjoy it, and it's not. I'm not going. But there ain't no. The hardest part for me would be cardio and conditioning. Obviously, and I mean that's what everybody works on, and you don't really have to do that in slap fighting. The cardio and conditioning. I mean, I train. Obviously, I practice. I try to find out who my opponent is. I set up a mitt at their height, and I, I practice hitting that height, practice accuracy, everything else. But I don't have to work on the cardio and conditioning, which is, the hardest part for me.
Yeah, I try to stay
So,
away from all your any questions that revolved around your training and stuff because I don't want to go technique. I mean, people could see what you show them, but what you don't, that's your technique and it's working. Um, the next question is, and I see you're a hard worker. Apparently, you drive trucks, but what would you like to do down the road? Because your name is becoming huge. I mean, I don't know if you know how big you're becoming, but I see comments and stuff. Would you like to do slap fighting when you're done with this?
uh, no, I mean, I, I do my job, and then I look at slap fighting as I wouldn't say like a hobby or like for fun, but it pretty much is. It's just something I do on the side for fun. And I mean, I've had people stop me and ask me if I was, like the Wolverine, stuff like that. And I mean, I don't really think of myself that way. I'm just somebody who does that just for fun.
Are you starting to get bothered by a lot of fans? Are you starting? Excuse the term bothered, but are you starting to get recognized by you down your personal name? Because even I had to search your name; it wasn't out there easily for me.
No, and that was not saying done purposely. I was just saying like I think they, I know like I took my name out of the whole Wolverine part. So,
And that's why I didn't mention your
but
last
as
name.
far as people finding out who I am, yeah, no, yeah, it's people are starting to recognize who I am. If they watch any of the slap fighting, they recognize. But as far as people just like if somebody held up a picture of like Conor McGregor, obviously nobody will know who the hell I am compared to somebody like that. But if you watch anything on slap fighting, then yeah, I mean most people have recognized me if they watch.
But I'm a card collector. I had mentioned to you I get autographs, and knowing you're, but the other day I actually ordered 4 custom cards of you. I'm not kidding. And with this episode, I'm going to actually give one random away. But I actually made a custom trading card of you for this video to give to one of the viewers. Just because I'm a card collector, and I actually made 4 of them. One's for my daughter because she loves you, and I got a funny story before I let you go because I know you got kids and stuff, and I saved that one for last. But let me see. Another question. This was a random one. How old are you?
I'm 30,
30?
31. Wait, yeah, 31.
You got a baby face when you shave. You look like you're in your early 20s, but then I watch your MMA videos, and I'm like, no, that's
I
his
know.
20s.
I absolutely hate.
Let me ask you this now: do you think there should be round limits in the slap fights? After watching that 27 rounder you did, do you think there should be limits before they go ahead and put it in a judge's decision?
It depends. Like, I think there should be because I mean, obviously, I know the CTE is real, but it's not saying it ain't real. But I mean, I know it can cause problems down the road. So I think eventually there should be. But I mean, when you got a match like me and Darius, I mean, nobody wants to see that only go like 10 rounds and wonder what if. So, I mean, on a match like that, I mean, I like the unlimited.
You do, just as a fan, I was sitting there watching. I'm like, oh man, please throw the towel on this, and you wouldn't quit. Nobody wants to quit, and man, you got the better licks of him. How he stood, I mean, he was jumping, bouncing. I'm surprised. I was crying for him, but just as a fan, we were like, oh, stop this fight. Let it go to a judge's decision another day. Pick up this fight after they heal or something. I know you're hitting with kids. I got just. One
No,
question.
you're good, bud. I'm just grabbing the charger. No. I'm just grabbing the charger real quick so the phone don't die.
Okay. Is there anyone you want to thank for your success, for for being where you are today? A lot of people don't think about asking that question, but I'm one that likes to give credit. Is there anybody you would thank?
Sorry, bud. Phone died.
Totally fine, totally fine. And I'm only gonna be like maybe 3 or 4 more minutes. I just got a couple, two more questions. And one was important, so that's why I called you back. Is there anybody you would like to thank for your success, where you are now and where I know you're going in the future?
Man, I guess everybody for, just watching and enjoying the, you know, people call it a hobby, some people call it a sport. So, I mean, whatever they call it, just watching slap fight, I guess. I mean, everybody, because it wouldn't have got to where it is, obviously, without people watching and enjoying it and enjoying the people who do it. So, no, she supports it, and so do the kids. I mean, the kids enjoy watching them. I mean, my you know, my daughter, she enjoyed the women's slap fight, the one that they did have, with Tekka. She enjoyed that one obviously a lot more than she did watching me. But yeah, everybody enjoyed.
I,
Yeah, I don't either, but that was actually a pretty good fun match to watch.
It
I mean,
was. It was. She really put it on. And it's funny you mentioned the kids because my last question comes with kind of a story. Um, Yesterday, it was
okay.
ironic. Here at Walmart in Denver, we was outside at a certain time, and my girlfriend, they decided to go out where the cart thing is, that little short exit where they push the carts through. And my daughter went first,
Yeah.
and she turned around and she did number three. By the time she did number three, she had showed what Wolverine had displayed to her. So my girlfriend wanted to know, because this is a true story. It happened yesterday, and she was telling me about it. She wants to know, what do you think about young children learning your techniques?
uh, Man, honestly, I'm all for like my kids. I mean, I don't have nothing against physical. I know like some parents are worried about kids learning, violence and everything else. Me, I mean, I'm all good for it because hell, I'd much rather have my kids be able to. Obviously, you're not going to defend yourself with a slap fighting technique of one, two, three. But in the general sense, I'd much rather them know violence than to not know any violence. So.
Way, my daughter's actually in 3 different martial arts. I do 6 schools a week between me, my girlfriend, and my daughter in different
Oh
cities.
wow.
So yeah, and she's taking Taekwondo, karate, and Gracie Jiu-Jitsu at an actual Gracie Academy, which was a dream of mine growing up. So to be able to do that for her, and she trains with a Gracie, is an honor. So,
Yeah.
but on one last thing, can people find you on slapfight.com? Is that the only place you have another one private that you have out?
I haven't got one out yet. I think we were talking about making a, what do you call it, a
Instagram?
Instagram for the Wolverine.
Mine's been out less than
Yeah,
six
but
months.
I ain't done it yet.
Less than 6 months, and
Yeah,
I've got over
I'm not a
3,000.
very tech guy. I'm not a very technical or a techie kind of guy, so I might have to get some help with that. But yeah, yeah. As far as I know, right now that's the only one. Other than whenever I get that one up and going.
Definitely get you an Instagram made. I made mine less than 6 months ago. Actually, I had my girlfriend do it because I didn't know nothing about Instagram, and I'm already at over 3,000 people. So definitely fun, and you stay cool, brother.
Hey, hey, you too, bud. You too. I appreciate it.
Thank
Thank
you
you.
so much. Bye bye.